Namaskar and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to tell you about all the ebooks that I've accumulated in the past 4 months. You've probably seen a lot of huge quarantine book hauls in the past few months from a lot of different people. I'm not the exception to this rule. I definitely bought a lot of books while I was quarantining because I wanted to read more, I've had more time, and I also don't have the access to the library, so let's make this book haul video more interesting. In the comments down below, tell me about the books that you're interested in the most, and I'm going to make a reading vlog where I read the most popular titles from the comment section. Without further ado, let's just jump into this video. The first book on my reading app is Queen of Coin and Whispers by Helen Corcoran. It's an FF fantasy. I think it's actually a fantasy romance, and it was on my most anticipated reads of 2020. The only thing that I know about it is that it features a princess and a spy romance, which sounds very thrilling. I'm going to read this book a bit later because I've read a lot of queer lit recently, and I think straight people that watch my channel are very bored at this point. I'm very sorry, but that's how it is here on my channel. The next book is Late to the Party by Kelly Quinlan. I bought it because Scribd only carries an audiobook and I wanted to read the ebook for this. This is a young adult sapphic read about a girl that is kind of late in her romantic endeavors, so she has not dated or has not experienced in general a lot of things when she was younger. This is a very relatable story for a lot of queer people, so I was very interested in that. The next ebook is Queer Leaders by 𝕊𝕆ℎ𝕇𝕇. I bought it because I saw it retweeted on my Twitter timeline, I think by one of the big sapphic publishers. All I know about it is that it's going to be about cheerleaders and that it's going to have an FF romance. The next one is an indie, I believe. It's Livingston Girls by Brianna Morgan. It's about this girl that had an affair with a female teacher and that gets transferred by her parents, I suspect, to another boarding school. It reminds me of a lot of problematic lesbian films I've seen in the past, so I'm very curious how this storyline is going to be handled. The selling point of the story, though, is that it's a school for witches. Sapphic witches in boarding schools is literally everything you need to tell me about a book to make me interested. The next book that I have on my reading app is random. I don't even know what it is about, I just know that it's queer. I think I bought it on a sale or something. It is We Were Promised Spotlights by Lindsay Sproul. It has a very appealing cover, and I know that it's not the reason to buy a book, and you're judging me from the other side of the screen. Don't judge me. You've probably done a similar thing in the past. So, if you know what this book is about, tell me in the comments down below. I might go into it blind, because why not? The next book is The 1000 Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, a very long title. It is by Grady Hendrix. I believe he's an author of a book that was very popular and booked up at some point, about some cult or witches or something. This one is a soft horror. I'm trying to get into this genre. I'm really not going to dip my toes too deep into this because I might have nightmares, but I've heard that it's not this scary, and it's about vampires, and the cover looks really pretty. And honestly, the title is very enticing. The next book that I bought is also an indie, I believe. It's Infernal Affairs by Jordan Lee Hawk. It's a paranormal romance book about a crossroad demon, a concept, that gets fooled by some human and falls for him? Probably. I am in the mood for paranormal romances sometimes. And I also like giving indies a chance, at least indies that interest me. The next book that I'm keeping for when I'm in a slump or I have a very terrible mood is Heather Page by Cat Sebastian. It's the first book in a romance/mystery series that she has. I'm still hoping that she's going to write more FF. It just needs to happen for me. I also have Into the Drowning Deep here by Mira Grant. I wanted to read it for a vlog, but turned out that this book is very, very thick, and I didn't have the willpower in me to dedicate to such a huge book. It is also a horror, but I've heard that it's not that scary. It's about murderous mermaids, and I do not associate mermaids with something so terrifying, but I might change my mind about it, and I might start fearing open water. We'll see. Not that me swimming in the sea is going to happen soon, thank you, Corona. The next book that I have, it's actually a novella. a series of novellas, is Criminal Intentions, Season 1, Episode 1 by 𝕊𝕋𝕻𝕻. I've heard a lot of good things about 𝕊𝕋𝕻𝕻. He is an author of color that writes a lot of MM. I had to switch off one of the lamps because it was flickering and driving me bananas. I have a very random FF romance on here. I don't even know when I bought it. It is Back to September by Melissa Braden. I've read a few books by Melissa Braden in the past. I am not a big fan, but this is supposed to be about an owner of a small business, and for some reason it seemed very appealing to me. I think it's also set in a small town. I am very into the idea of settling in a small town and finding someone. I think it's very romantic. I don't know why. The next book that I have here is also very random. I think it's a thriller. I love the cover. It's called Little Darlings by Melanie Golding. Have no idea, like at all, what it is about. If you know what this book is about, tell me in the comments down below. The next one is Tarnished Out of the Stars by Rosie Thor. I bought it quite a bit ago, and also I am skipping all the books that I've read already because I think it's boring. Tarnished Out of the Stars is a young adult fantasy with an asexual protagonist. I believe one of the protagonists at least is asexual. So that was a huge selling point of this book for me, and I think for a lot of people. I've heard a few things about the craft in this book being bad, so I don't know if it's good. I will try to read it for sure. The next book is waiting for me. It's The Gwynnefer Deception by Kiersten White. I love Kiersten White, she's one of my favorite authors, but I still have to finish her N.A. Darken series, which is one of my favorite young adult fantasies, because it's a historical fantasy, and I'm a huge sucker for historical fantasy. The Gwynnefer Deception is an Arthurian retelling. I love this legend, so I cannot wait to see what it's going to look like, sound like, be like. I think it's from the point of Morgana or Gwen, which are two amazing ladies, especially on Marilyn BBC. Very sad that they didn't get together. The next ebook that I bought was Slay by Brittany Morris. It's a story about a girl that creates a very pro-black game. The story in general is about gaming. I'm not sure how much I'm going to be into this because I'm really not into gaming, but I've seen some amazing reviews and I bought it because Scribd also only carries an audiobook. I also have here Cryer's War by Nina Varela, which is crying for me at this point, and I will get to it. I'm just concerned that I'm not going to love sci-fi in my fantasy. You know how picky I am about sci-fi, but I know that a lot of people love this book, and I think the world building is very unique in it. It's about robots that took over the humanity, and now humans are their help, slaves, and it has an FF romance between an android and a human, which is an interesting concept that can be done in a few different ways, so we'll see. I also, on a whim, bought A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. People were recommending me this book a couple of years prior, and I was always so annoying and so snobbish, and I wasn't that much into romance at the time, so I was not even considering reading this, but I have this craving for adult urban fantasy, and I don't really want to read a 9-book series because a lot of them are very, very large at this point. I just want to read a trilogy or a duology or something like that. I also rewatched the TV series recently, and I think I want to read the books. Tell me if you want a reading vlog for this complete series, because I might actually do it. The next book that I have here is Going Off Script by Jen Wilde. It is a young adult FF romance about an actress and someone else. I am very into Hollywood stories, so I bought this when I learned about its existence. Then I also have Magic for Liars by Sarah Gailey. I bought it because it's a modern book about witches. I also have here 2 romances, Playing with Matches by Hannah Orenstein. I just loved the cover. I'm not going to lie, I've never heard about this book before. I found it randomly and decided to buy it. Maybe I will read it at some point, I don't know. I'm not in the mood for it yet. It's going to stay in the drafts. The other romance book that I have here is To Be Honest by Maggie and Martin, and I'm very excited for it because I've heard a lot of fantastic things. I also have This Is What It Feels Like by Rebecca Barrow. I've heard fantastic things about it. It's a new adult FF romance about a band, and I believe it deals with a lot of very serious topics. One of them is for sure addiction. I have a few more to go through. The Wicked Cometh by Laura Carlin, It's an FF historical, and we all know how much I love historicals. I've also seen it being compared or being recommended to the lovers of Star Wars. If there was one thing to entice me to read a book, is the comparison to Star Wars. The next one is Ace of Shades by Amanda Foody. I wanted to get into this series for a very long time. It is compared a lot to Six of Crows, but fun fact, this novel was actually written before Six of Crows, which is very interesting because I believe the market wasn't ready for a book like that when Amanda Foody finished it, but then 𝕊𝕁𝕁𝕁 wrote something similar and her manuscript was bought. Publishing is a very interesting business. I'm not being shady, I just find it very interesting, especially because Ace of Shades never got the same hype. The last purchase is a whole series. It's Scenes of the Cities by K.J. Charles. I recently got into K.J. Charles. I really enjoy her historical romances. I have An Unseen Attraction, which features an Indian love interest, an unsuitable hair, and an unnatural vice. One of this also has a non-binary character, which is very exciting. I do not see a lot of non-binary rap in romances. It's like finding a gem. These are all the books that I bought recently-ish, in the past 3-4 months. In the comments down below, tell me if you read any of this, if you have any opinions. And leave the titles you're most excited about, and I'm going to read them for a video, which is going to come out maybe in 2-3 weeks. I will need time. Thank you for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon with another one, but until then,